If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. Good night from the Dusty Wheel. Like we say around here, smash to black.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, Innkeeper, and this is your live calling talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And we're finally here to talk all about Season 3. So I was like, we've done character reviews, Season 2, looked into all of that, and let's look forward. I wanted to look at everything we know about Season 3 and do a recap. So this last week or so, I've been digging in and, trying to go through pretty much everything WOT series has put out, stuff Rafe has said, stuff the cast has said, and I was like, okay, we need to, I need to get all this together and come talk about it because Season 3 is going to come out sometime next year, hopefully. And I was like, who else do I want on the show to come talk to me about Season 3? So joining me tonight, I was like, let's get some of the crew together. I have Lauren and John.
Hey, everybody.
How you guys doing?
We're here.
Fantastic.
You're
Thanks
here.
for having us.
All right. I think we had another guest, but they dropped out. So I think we'll do. We'll do, right? We'll do.
Yeah.
We'll do.
So 3/4 is enough.
3/4 is enough. All right. So how much have you been looking at Season 3, John? Like, I mean, I know you've been putting, videos out, but in terms of Season 3 stuff, are you like, is that all you're looking to put out now?
Pretty much. I still have Season 2 videos to do. But I've done a ton of Season 3 stuff the last few months, and I have more to do, and I have a bunch on the back burner, but I've been busy lately, so they're not all coming out, of course. But yeah, it's been my channel's mostly been focused on Season 3.
Yeah.
Ish.
Andrew's like, beard rule tonight. Yes. Beards definitely. I need to grow out my beard. I feel kind of left out here. Lauren, I know you've not been putting out as much, but I know you put out that Moraine video. So is that the last video you put out?
Yes, that is. Yeah, it was actually a Season 3 video.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that probably in our show later tonight. So in terms of Season 3, I think I have to ask both of you, right? I've asked pretty much every guest I've had the last month. This time next year, March 13th, 2025, will we have the season 3 first episode out? Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay. All
I
right.
don't even have to think about that. No.
Lauren?
I have no insider information, but I doubt it. I wish,
Okay.
I hope.
Okay.
I mean, I hope we get it this fall, but that's not realistic. I
All
don't
right.
think.
I want it
Okay.
tomorrow. But
All right. All right. Let me end this poll. Will all of the village council be in attendance tonight? People hoped. About 50% of people here hoped that would happen. But let's ask a more realistic question, right? This time next year, will we have the season 3 trailer out?
What do you
Lauren-
just like
Lauren-
full trailer
Well, let's.
or teaser? Because I think we'll have some teasers. I think we'll get teasers this year.
yeah, I think we'll
Oh.
get something at
We
San
did
Diego
for
Comic-Con
season
this year.
2. Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, there's also WotCon and JordanCon coming up, and they've
Yes. Yep.
done stuff the last 2 years.
All
I
right.
think.
So what about trailer? Will we have the season 3 trailer?
Yeah, but if we're talking
by
full trailer,
March?
I don't know. That's feels a little early. You know, there's always
I
that
would say-
Super
yeah.
Bowl hope.
Well, I'd say I'm gonna answer the poll now. I have the chat up, so I'm gonna say no. I don't think we will. However, I think we'll have, like Lauren said, teasers for sure. We'll probably get some of that stuff this year. We'll
Mhm.
probably get some more official releases in season 3, but they're generally pretty quiet until after Lord of the Rings is done anyway. And Lord of the Rings is coming out this September, I think.
I don't think
correct me
they've
if I'm
put a
wrong,
date down. I think they've said this summer or later this year.
Yeah, I
forget
feel like
what
it's
the
later
most
this
recent
year,
one-
but
Yeah.
definitely this year, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. No.
yeah,
for sure.
it is this year, and then Wheel of Time will be next year.
And
because
if we're
they're
going
kinda
by
leapfrogging.
the last, yeah, exactly, they're leapfrogging. If we're going by the last time Rings of Power came out, Amazon almost seemed scared to release them anywhere near each other. They
Yeah.
wanted like a good year between them. So, I mean, I hope that's not the case. I've heard them say they want to push more for every 18 months, but I still don't think that's even realistic. I don't mean to be a bummer. I
Yeah.
wish it was every year. And that's the other thing. Like, these actors are not only getting older, but they're getting more popular. They're going to start getting in more
And they
things.
get busier.
Yeah, and that's just going to make scheduling and everything else more complicated. So, I mean, I would love every year, 24 episodes a year like they used to do.
That would
Yeah,
that
it's
that's
like
not
Lost
Yeah.
or like the heyday of TV, I guess you'd say. But I think we're gonna get
You're
8
gonna say
or
less episodes? Oh, yeah, okay. You're gonna say less. Okay. All right. Okay, we're talking about time, right? So, and we're talking about how long this is taking. So let's look at the timeline for season
Sure.
3. So we know the timeline pretty well, and let's kind of go through it. So what I have here is the Deadline article that came out in July 2022 that in San Diego Comic-Con, Rafe talked about, season 3 is greenlit. This is more than a year before season 2 premiered, and he was thrilled to talk about it. He said Shadow Rising has been his favorite book, and he wanted to show us that. So we knew about that then, but this is what we've put together. So it was greenlit July 21st, 2022. It began filming less than a year later, April 2023. There was a scheduled break in August, and I think that was when we'll see some stuff that Lauren shared that happened at different sets. Obviously, there's the strikes that happened during this. I didn't put that timeline, but obviously that affected marketing, publicity, but not necessarily the production timeline. The prog wrap was in October, and this Instagram doesn't exist. It does exist on whatseries.com. Priyanka deleted it, but she said, "We just wrapped season 3 with this epic cast and crew. There was a room full of people, artists, craftsmen responsible." So that was October 28th, 2023. And then there was a break, and filming started again in South Africa in February, about a month ago. And filming is still continuing to happen. So we're not done with... Is this what they call principal photography? Is that what this is? Yeah, we're not done with principal photography. So looking at that, and looking at, I think, April 2022 is also when season 2 finished filming, and it took till September of 2023 before it came out. So
Yep.
we're kind of based on March only has 2 to 3 weeks left. So if we're at the same timeline, by that reckoning, are we looking at September 2025 release again? Lauren, what do you
I
think?
think that's probably a pretty fair bet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that if they do wait a full 2 years, that they don't do it during Christmas like they did with season 1. I personally liked the season 2 schedule better. It was it was kind of like September through October, right?
Yeah.
So that was, I think, better. It'll be interesting to find out if they think so.
Yeah.
Also, this is unrelated to Wheel of Time, but the new Fallout series on Prime is being released in full. They're not doing it
Yes.
like weekly, which is really interesting. So I wonder if they're sort of testing things out.
Yeah. So let me ask. Let's end this poll. Will we have a season trailer by March 2025? About 60% of people saying yes. I thought I would have thought more people would be hopeful. But I think we're more realistic after 4 years and 2 seasons. I think that's more realistic. Let's see. Start a poll. And what was I asking? Is there any chance they release all of season 3 episodes together? Or should I ask if people want that? What do you think? I think I should ask if people...
Yeah, I see a comment in chat that says, "Don't do it, Amazon. I want episodes weekly."
All right, let me ask you.
I feel the same way.
I don't have the stamina personally if they do it all at once
want
for my channel.
Exactly.
Prime to release all of season... Okay, that's the better poll. Do you want Prime to release all of season 3 episodes together? Let's see. So John, you don't have the stamina to watch it or to wait?
Oh, I'd
Do
watch
content.
it, but do content. I
yes.
love the weekly release because that's me selfishly saying that, like, when the first 3 episodes drop, because I have to put up videos on them right away.
Right.
I scramble for days. It's like a full first week is just nothing but videos, and then when it's one at a time, it's a bit of a breather, and I can take a couple of days to do videos. But if it's all at once, oh man, I'll feel obligated to put everything out immediately, and I'll just be exhausted. I'll have big bags under my eyes. I'll be tired.
Yeah,
I got burned out last season, like season 2, and I got a little bit of warning. Like, I got lucky enough to see the first 3 episodes early,
right?
And but I also got surprised with a trip I wasn't anticipating going on right before everything happened. But I'm still burned out, and I haven't even finished my season 2 videos yet. I'm still working on them. So please give us every month, once a month. Episodes. How about that? No, I'm kidding.
Well, to be fair, if there's 2 years between seasons, if they put it out all at once, it's less time for there to be hype and to keep people's interest. Like it's a long time with very little marketing in between. It scares me. I want it stretched out over a longer time period.
Yeah, I mean, it allows us to have watch parties, to have all these things, and almost together, like. Break it down. We have our after shows here. A lot of other people have after shows, and it's just fun to theorize right as you're watching it and after. I mean, this year we watched it. Yeah, and that was just so much fun to do. So yeah, I doubt. I don't know why with Fallout. Maybe I don't know if they've done it with any other. I think The Boys was never. They've not done that. Invincible is coming out, I think, tonight, or. I know Invincible is coming out like this week, so I don't know what they did with that.
I don't know. They have released other shows in the past all at once, I believe. But it seems like there's almost no rhyme or reason to it for them. It's just...
Well, to me, it worries me that maybe they're not as confident in the show. If they're releasing a bunch of episodes all at once. I mean, I actually just played Fallout 4 in the last year, and it's the first time I've ever played a Fallout game, and I am so excited for the Fallout show. Like, it looks really great. But maybe they're not so confident in it, or maybe it doesn't really pick up the pace until far enough in that they're like, let's just release it all. I don't know. I don't know what their reasoning is either.
Yeah, this is season 2, episode. Wait, how many? I thought Invincible. I'm not sure now. I'll have to look back. But I thought there was something coming out this week, or some shows coming out that'll tell us. Because Kikieri put out on Twitter that they're changing their time instead of being Thursday. I'm trying to think of Eastern. It used to be Thursday around 8. So it used to be Thursday midnight GMT, or like Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're going a day behind. So going to like Wednesday Eastern for people.
Weird.
I think I've seen her put that out there, and they're changing. And I think she updated it.
Could be a tester too, because Amazon loves completion rates. They prefer completion rate over anything else, and that's what they consider their green or winning metric. So if it's out all at once, people are more likely to binge it and watch it all at once. And if it's out piecemeal, like every couple of weeks or every week, things happen and people drop off. They might watch a couple episodes. They might not have time. So maybe that's why they're kind of playing with that, releasing Fallout all at once to see if it helps.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, and the other thing is Fallout in particular is a pretty well-known IP, especially among gamers. But I would say, like, I don't know what the crossover is between like Wheel of Time fans and Fallout fans, but I'm guessing it's not all the same, audience.
I doubt it.
Especially because Wheel of Time has such a massive international audience.
Yep.
So, maybe they're just trying new things. I just hope that we get weekly episodes, and I hope that we get 8 to 10 episodes. But I know for season 3 we're getting 8, right? That's confirmed.
Yeah, it's
season 3 is 8 episodes for sure. Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about that. We have 2 episode titles. Mm-hmm. The first, we have what series back in October last year told us to Race the Shadow. That's written by Justine Jewel Gilmer. It's on the WGA website. This is chapter 47 of The Dragon Reborn. Now, chapter 47, as you can tell with the dice there, is a Matt chapter. Mm-hmm. And it's a Matt chapter where he basically overhears Gabriel Ravin.
I was going to say, by the way, if you're worried about spoilers,
spoil things.
not just
random
spoilers.
names, random name you don't know, and they don't mean anything. But we'll talk. I'm saying, let's say end of book 6. End of book 6.
Far as I think is safe.
Yeah, let's keep it at that for now, and then we can, if we need to, do full book spoilers. All right, so that.
So I was going to say, related to that chapter title, I don't trust the chapter titles and episode titles anymore going together. They got me with what might be, and I'm still angry about it. So.
What is going on? Why is there a comment in chat that's not me? And
somebody's watching.
And the let me just say this: the call lines are open. All right.
It's me. I'm honest.
All right, the call lines are open. Let's just say that. Okay. So let's see. Nope, not that. It threw me off my game here. Whoever is in chat.
It's like
definitely me.
It's honest from another turning.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Well, I was just going to say, as related to the chapter title, I hope that it's related to that Matt title. To Race the Shadow. That would be awesome if we get like Caemlyn. There is some speculation that we'll be getting Caemlyn early season 3, right?
Yeah, there is 100%.
So, and John, you know more than I do. Weren't they seen in like block 1 shooting Caemlyn sets with like banners of Andor and stuff?
Yes, we are full book. Well, end of book 6, so end of Lord of Chaos and full show spoilers. We're there now.
We are full show spoilers. Okay, let's put it out there. We're full show spoilers. We're full anything that is on the internet / WOT series and WOT up.
Okay, so
yes.
If it's already
So
public, yeah.
it's already public. All right, so Shora Dishlu was seen on set, on a set with what appeared to be Caemlyn banners in the background, filming for early season 3. And then I released on my channel last year, I think it was like mid season 2, that she's playing Elida. So Elida makes sense to be in Caemlyn. Like we're definitely getting at least some Caemlyn. And that ties into another plot, I think, in the first part of season 3 that we're pretty sure we're getting. Are we talking plots now? Are we getting there? Is that what we're gonna
We'll
do?
get to plots. I want to
Okay,
show everything,
we'll
but
talk about that in
yeah,
a bit.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah. So that would, you're right. If we get the Matt, it'd be hard to get Matt to Caemlyn, but can we see Caemlyn without Matt? I think is definitely
Yes.
possible, and have that because this
Yeah,
is
but you could also skip forward in time. I mean, they did that with season 2.
right. Yeah, I mean the question is, right, why would Matt be in there's so many things to explain then, and we can kind of dig into plots in a bit, but let's let me show you this. So that was that, and then the other one we know is episode 7. Again, this was again WOT series last month. It's Golden Eyes, written by Dave Hell, again from the WGA website, and yes, it's the wolf symbol. It's this Shadow Rising chapter 56, and this is pretty much the Two Rivers battle, and when it's from Perrin's point of view, there's I think a bit of Fane point of view after the end when he's like looking, and once the White Cloaks have kind of failed and the Trollocs have been defeated. So this seems to be the climactic Two Rivers plotline. You would imagine this is Shadow Rising, Golden Eyes, right? Any doubt about that?
Zero doubt.
All right, cool. Okay, so that's what we know about episode. So we know those things. The one other thing I wanted to point out, because you mentioned blocks and that stuff, right? We know that there are 3 directors, and they're doing it the same way they did season 2. There's a lead director, which was Sana Hamri last season. So this one is Kieran Donnelly, who's doing block 1 and block 4. So that's episode 1 and 2, and episode 7 and 8. Thomas Napper, who's returning, is doing block 2. So that's 3 and 4. And Marta Cunningham is doing block 3. That's 5 and 6. Who is new to the Wheel of Time, from what I can tell. But I'm kind of forgetting what else she's done, but not new to directing kind of a big production. So those are the 3 directors, and we know Kieran Donnelly from the last 2 episodes of season 1. So I mean, I feel like I've asked this many times. Let me put this as a poll, but seeing that name, John, how sure are you that we're going to see the bolt being used in any part of season 3, but definitely with Kieran on board?
I'd say probably.
Okay, all right.
Probably, because you got to look at it. I know we're not talking plot lines and whatnot yet, but Kieran's likely directing the action heavy episodes of the season. So they're going to start with action, and we'll talk more about that when plot comes up, and that comes with leaks from the Daily Trolloc and a few other different places. And they're going to end with action, because we know we have the Battle of the Two Rivers near the end, and we also have the Aiel Waste. So we're going to see the bolt used. I 100%. I think so. I think we're going to see some really cool stuff for those 2, and I am excited for his action sequences, for sure, because I thought he did a really good job with them.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
it was Shael and Blood Snow, so it was the Aiel.
The best,
and now we
the
have
best scene of the entire series, as far as I'm concerned, still.
Yeah. So Lauren, that's we're gonna have more Aiel this year, right? So we haven't talked about that, but that's another kind of place to use the bolt again. How excited are you to see that?
Well, I have to say, I think this is a brilliant thing that they're doing. You know, it's interesting that Kieran's 2 episodes in season 1 have one of the most praised scenes and have some of the most like hated bits, because episode 8 in season 1 had some difficult things that a lot of people had trouble with. So I'm actually really excited that he gets to come back and kind of redeem himself. Not that he did a bad job, he didn't at all. They were given a really tough situation with season 1 with Barney leaving and everything that happened with COVID. And I'm just saying it's really exciting to see him get to come back and kind of like, now that everything's been established, that's really exciting for me. The other thing that I'm really excited about is when you have a director doing the beginning and ending of a season, that's going to make the entire season feel more coherent, I think. Especially because he's kind of overlooking the whole thing. I'm very excited about that. I think in a way we may be getting a more even tighter season as far as like themes and
I mean, no restrictions,
even like
no COVID.
camera shots, right? Like so many things can be
Right.
more planned out and thought through, and because he's going to be involved with the entire thing, really exciting to me. At the beginning and ending. So yeah, I think we're going to see some serious action. I'm curious to, as we do talk about plots, what action will we see in the first 2 episodes? Because I think we all kind of know what we're going to see in the end of the season, but I would love to see what's going to be happening in those first 2. I don't know yet. As far as Kieran coming back, I'm excited. I was going to ask, do we know if Sanaa Hamri is still involved? I'm assuming she's at least like a producer or something, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I mean, you could be an executive producer because Kieran Donnelly is for season 3, but not for, other seasons, right? So
I just know because I had the awesome chance to meet her and to talk to her, and they were deep into season 3 filming when I was there. They were hiding it from us, but she was there and she was very involved. And I also got to meet Thomas Napper, and he was also very involved.
Right.
And it seemed to me like she wasn't just there for the press. I could be wrong. She seemed like she was still very invested in the show, and that she was there in more than just marketing for season 2. I could be wrong. Maybe she's not involved with season 3, but I got the impression that she's still super invested in the show. So I was just curious if we know for sure whether or not
that's actually really interesting. You're right. Season 2 was done a while ago, and I don't know how that works. Do the producers and directors have press like that, or press or publicity?
I don't know. I don't have her listed on any of my lists for producers for season 3. That doesn't mean she's not.
Right.
Well, maybe she really was maybe she was just there for the marketing stuff that they were doing, because there were a lot of influencers and different news sites and stuff, people there, media interviewing, and I know she did sit down interviews with some people, and so maybe she was just there for that. I mean, she was definitely promoting season 2, but
I don't have a producers list like John, but I do have a writers list. So these are the writers. Again, WOT series put this out a while ago now. Rafe obviously is on there. Remy Park, I forget her title, but it's like almost like a lead, not lead writer, but it's like a something like that. Amanda K. Schumann, Justine Joel Gilmer, Dave Hill, Catherine B. McKenna, Ajoke Ibiranke, Beverly Okayo, and Isabella Whiteman is an writer's assistant. So this is the team. A lot of names that we know that are returning. And I mentioned Dave Hill, who again has written for, I think it was episode 4 in season 1 and episode 4 in season 2. And Raymond Park with the episode 6 and how well that was in season 2. So the fact that she's kind of maybe the lead for that. I didn't put Sarah on there. I know Sarah's in the writer's room. I don't know what
she I think she advises them more than anything else. I don't believe correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think she's had a writer's credit.
No, she's not. Well, she wasn't in the Writers Guild either, which is why she was still able to be involved.
So I think she's more advice, and they ask questions, and she offers things how things should kind of work out. But I don't think she does the writing.
So
I just this is unrelated, but
not that she couldn't. I think she
I hope that we eventually do get to see her with a writing credit. I think that would be so
Me too.
cool.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing.
Yeah, Radish, this is again, to my knowledge, not exhaustive. I don't know if John or if anyone from What Series is in the chat that can confirm this, but from what I can tell, these are things we find out, or they find out, and we report on. So there might be other writers who have contributed, but we don't know.
100%. There's
Yeah.
not an official list. They haven't released an official list that these are the writers for season 3, and
Yeah.
like Amazon is not great at releasing official information for the Wheel of Time or any of their shows really, but especially the Wheel of Time. So most of what we have and we talk about are things that aren't released officially, but are just kind of out there and people find or people pick up on or they get leaked. And then it just kind of becomes common knowledge. It's been that way for both seasons so far, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's been very few official castings, very few official press releases compared to the other stuff. Like, and I think that's pretty normal.
And how much of that is Amazon, and how much of that is Sony? Because you would think, I don't know, maybe Amazon owns IMDb, so you would think that they would be on top of updating some of that stuff early. But because they do obviously update it once the show is out, right? But yeah, interesting.
All right. So I like this. I don't have an answer, Jen. It's a big writer's room. Do we know if any of these are teams?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I didn't know that was a big writer's room. I thought writers' rooms can be big, but let's that's the directors, that's the writers. We know 2 episodes. We know there are 8 in total, and there is a list of cast that we have based on things that are, again, have been reported on, news that is out there, rumors that are out there. So I'm going to go through them, again, taken from What Series, their list. Actually, they're not that I'm like calling them out. There were a couple of people that were like they haven't put on there, and I always think that's purposeful. I'm like, why did they put it there? Why isn't it in season 3 or unconfirmed, or is it just because? So you'll notice the ones that I've put myself in there. So this is I'll just run through them. So these are the main build, right? We have Rosamund Pike, Daniel Henney, Joshi Strogowski, Zoe Robbins, Madeline Madden, Mark Rutherford, Dolphin, Kira Coveney. They are definitely going to be in season 3. At the same goes for, I think, these group of people: Loyal, Min, Celine, Lanfear, Kylie, Magedian for sure. Swan and Liana, we can talk about in a bit. Tom for sure, because Tom, Alexander Willem, has put out Instagram stories. Shoriak Dashlu says role unknown, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But she recently put, I think on Twitter, that she was getting onto a red bus, whatever that means. Kate Fleetwood as Leandrin, Ayla Smart, Raka Dragners, Maya Simonson, Mira Sell, Hiku Dochman, Priyanka Bose, and Taylor Napier. Again, I don't think there's any question of most of these people. We saw them at the end of season 2. They're big players. Some of these folks now, this is where we're getting into some people that we know from season 2 and others we don't. So Anthony Kai is a role unknown. We don't know if we can talk about that. Dane Bornhold is going to tour the 2 rivers because that's the last words he said at the end of season 2. Joya Bayer had no lines, but had some suspicious looks as she walked around. Adelius probably has a role to play. Rima, that's on there, and Naomi. These are people that we met in season 2. Luke Featherston, role unknown, but I don't know why What Series has put him next to Callum Kerr, who is Galad. So,
well, and I know that I've seen Gawain ? Next to
yes.
Luke.
Yes. So well, they're
that's kind of I think that's a troll against me. We don't really know.
If John doesn't,
he would be a good Gowan though.
If John doesn't know who Gawain is, no one knows who Gawain is. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say.
You know what? I will probably find out who Gowan is the same way everyone else does, from some random leak or an official press release. I would love to be involved in the release of the casting. I don't think it'll ever happen.
By the way, Joya did have a line in
It's
season 2. Someone
yes,
pointed that
He
out.
did.
yes,
Yep.
yes. Okay, yes.
I think
As
she
I
said
said
something
it,
about Mazrim Taim or something.
Yeah, yes. Now that you say it, you're right.
Well, I didn't say it. Someone
Oh
in
yeah,
chat said it.
Andrew. As I was saying, I was like, I think that's wrong, and then I saw Andrew say, "Thank you, Andrew, to putting that in chat." So that's that's that group, and I think the last group is this. I think this is the last group. Juliet Howland as Natty Cawthon. You would imagine, if the fact that she was in season 2 in those flashbacks and not the flashback, the archway scenes and the trippy tea scenes. We know Marin Elvire from something Lolita Chakrabarty said. I feel like 2 years ago now. It was a Times article that she mentioned, or the Times article mentioned that once we get to season 3, Marin Elvire has a larger role to play. Unfortunately, I think due to her some other commitments,
Her schedule,
the role has been recast to Rita Mahoney. Isla and Aram and Rain, the Tinkers, being back in the Two Rivers, and that plot line makes sense. I'm gonna butcher this name, but I think it's DM Camille. We don't know. Role unknown. Johan Myers is Patton Fane. Hopefully he's coming back, and so is Eamon Valda. And this is, I think, the most recent stuff. Having Fail and Ispan makes sense. The ones that don't make sense to me, I don't know who Jacques Lunal is. Cheyenne, I have no idea. Nuno Lopez, role unknown. We'll talk about Migrant in a little bit, Teresa Diskova. And Rebecca Root is going to be the Keeper of the Chronicles, Lilane Akashi. And Jared Doric is going to be Checkham Carradine. So that's, some interesting, some that make sense, but some that are like, how is Lilane going to, why is Lilane going to be the Keeper of Chronicles? All right. I guess that's the more interesting question. I think I have a few more that are not on their list that I put a couple more. Iman Marison and Ian Atwin. Now these are interesting. The way they put this together was they posted Instagram stuff from Prague, and the day after the rap party they were leaving Prague at the airport together. And one of them on their CV is on a unnamed big Amazon project. So it's if there's anyone who can put it together, I think that's what WOT Series has done. and so these are the people who I think they've reported on, but weren't on their website. So Olivia Williams, huge actor, has been the rumors are she's going to play Queen Morghese. Paul Maynard, Jacques Alcine, that they recently reported that WOT Series. And then, I put Tom there just because, Tom Ball.
Tom's back, yeah.
Tom clearly loves one of the most, the people who puts the most on Instagram. All right, so that's a pretty big list. None of that is confirmed. Let me put that out there.
No.
None of that is confirmed. This is all based on things that are found under internet and some
leaks
sleuthing,
whatnot,
things like that. Yeah, and none of this is Prime confirming.
None of it is official because a lot of it's like, for example, Rosamund
And
Pike has said
right.
she was
Yeah,
filming
yeah,
season
exactly.
3.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And Daniel
no,
Henney.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a last
Official announcement.
official announcement for a cast was, I think, Bain and Chiad. It was at Jordan Con last year. Bain and Chiad, Sherry M, Jay Duffy. I think those were the three, for season 2.
Yeah. So we would likely, I'd like to think we're going to get official cast reveals at Jordan Con or WotCon this year.
Right.
And they will likely be people that we already know about anyway.
Yeah, like Fael and Elida or something.
Like Fael, maybe Elida, because they've been out there now for about almost a year.
Right.
So
Again,
they would probably reveal those.
Yeah, I mean these are big players for some of the plot lines we'll talk about, and big players for the Shadow Rising. That we're not not surprised by most of the big names that are there. I mean, there are people we always thought, oh, I didn't put Hopper on there, but the reason I say that, Rafe, I was gonna put this video together. Rafe, when he went to New York Comic Con and he did that Q&A at a episode 8 finale that was shown at a theater, he said this year when Marcus showed up on set, Kalopinka recognized him and jumped on him. And I was like, why are there wolf dogs on set in 2023? Is how again, he might be saying, this year, or and just said it wrong, but I thought it's interesting, that the wolf dogs were mentioned as being, because I from what I can tell, season 2 has been filming for so long. So
season 3, you mean?
No, season 2. It was like had been filming so long. So if Hopper's not going to be in season 3, they shouldn't be on set in 2023, right?
Well, Hopper will likely be there. I can't see Hopper not being there at all.
Right.
Well, that brings the question too. There's a couple of characters that I just thought of that I guess we just don't know anything. Like Elias, for example, we have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But another one that isn't, or two that aren't on there is Alana's other warder. He wasn't on there, right?
Yeah. So
he was not. So
this has been reported on.
About that. Yeah.
Emmanuel Imani. Initially, there was rumors that because he had other things that he had to shoot, that he might not be coming back. But he changed his agency or had a new agency or something, and his new CV mentioned The Wheel of Time season 3. Now,
but I didn't see him on that list.
Right, it's not on that list exactly. But this is what I'm regurgitating is close to, I'm paraphrasing stuff I read on WOT series in one of their articles. So they were like, we don't know what that means, and so it might be he's shot a little bit and that's it. But they haven't seen other like circumstantial evidence, like seen in Prague or seen on set kind of
right.
things for him. You're right. So Ivan, where is Ivan? We don't know where is Ivan. Let me ask people: will we see Hopper in season 3? I think it's a easy.
Well, and the other one, I think maybe you're going to talk about this, but the other one is Matt's father. Don't we know that he won't be there?
Yes. So, John, what do we know about Abel Cawthon? Do we think we're going to see Abel Cawthon back in the Two-Rivers?
No. So I did a video on this earlier this year, and as far as I've been told from some of my sources, that he will not be back for season 3, which is kind of sad because I wanted to see a redemption arc with him. He's mentioned for sure. I can say that he is mentioned during the Two Rivers scenes, but he's not actively on screen.
Yeah, I don't know, John. If you're looking at chat, people talking about different conventions, and your name is popping up. So, but yeah, I think that's Abel Cawthon. Again, plays a. I think he's leader of one of the factions, the armies, like that plays a part in the Two Rivers. He's kind of important to that storyline, but not so important that not having him there would break the storyline, I think. Right. Yeah.
I'd be sad not to see him, and I think a lot of fans would be sad not to see him. But I think people who haven't read the books would not notice at all, especially considering the way he's been set up in the show. Yeah. There would not be enough time in season 3 to give him a full redemption plot line and then have him lead and be like one of Perrin's main go-to people for the Battle of the Two Rivers. I don't think anyway. So
yeah.
That reminds me, Tam is also not on the list. Like, we don't know if what's his name, Michael McElhatton.
Yeah.
Not
Rain,
100%.
No.
Yeah. I don't think that's been.
Yeah, I mean, how well did I was surprised to see Tam show up in season 2. So for him to make an appearance for more than like a few lines, you would imagine Tam should be in the Two Rivers, right? Unless there's a clear explanation that he's somewhere else, which
he should be, unless he's off to the tower to see about his son, which did happen in the books. They did show up and they did try to talk to them at one point or another.
Yeah,
that's also how they could explain Abel Cawthon's.
He's away.
That's too. Yeah,
he's away. He's away with Tam. Okay, I like that.
I mean, I don't like it, but I could see it happening.
I don't know, Danielu. Has Brandon Veer been recast? I thought I saw something about this, but maybe that was more. I'm not sure. I didn't see this in all of my research, John. I don't know if anything comes to mind about.
It doesn't
Brian.
come to mind right away, but I have goldfish brain too, so sometimes things go in and they just go away right away, and I don't remember everything. It's possible, but
so in terms of cast, I think that those are most in terms of people that have been reported on. The one thing we didn't talk about, and I guess we can talk about it a little bit in the plot. We'll get into in the next 5 minutes. Is Forsaken, right? None of the Forsaken are have been cast in a way that we know, but what has been said, Rafe has said, there is a Forsaken we haven't seen who's on set. Hopefully more than one. We know from certain audition scripts that we'll look at in a second that Samael is in an audition script. So at least that's one who's been name dropped already in episode 8. So if you've name dropped someone, like we should be seeing him, I think, right? I mean,
you would hope they would join the show if they were talked about in the show.
Right, exactly. All right, so
I was just going to say, it's really exciting that some of those faces we just looked at, one of those could be a Forsaken. We don't know.
100%. Like there are a lot of people that have that are we think are in the show, or we are fairly sure are in the show, I should say, without confirming or denying it because it's not official from Amazon. We don't have roles attached to, and any one of them could be a Dark Friend. We don't know.
Okay, all right.
Even Gowan.
You don't want me to pull if Gawain's in the show or not.
He is. I know with a surety that both Gowan and Galad are in the show. They're not amalgamated. They're separate characters, and they are in the show.
Okay,
who they are, I don't know.
I can actually not vouch for that, but I can add evidence to that. So there's audition scripts and plots and theories. Yeah. We'll get to that. The only thing I wanted to show before that is locations and sets, right? So we know they were in Prague, at Jordan Studios, as well as some outdoors locations. I mean, there's the Black Lot, but actually other areas that were shot in season 1, like the Two Rivers set that's out not in Prague, but like at a place that's not in Jordan Studios, somewhere else. We know they went to Slovenia. I think it was I put it there September, October before they finished. And Slovenia is where some of those mountains and those shots were done. And we know they were in South Africa February, likely through April. So 3 kind of main locations. In terms of actual sets, Two Rivers. We've seen Two Rivers shots.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think there is something to show for Two Rivers later from Lauren.
All right. So we're about an hour in. If you've stuck around, we've got some Two Rivers stuff to show you. So enjoy the Two Rivers set, and this is some Lauren magic. All right. Let's put this up. Well, there you have it. Ooh, did we lose John?
I think he had to step out for just a
Oh,
second.
okay, all
He'll
right.
be back.
But yeah, you got to visit not a Two Rivers. That was the set that we're going to see in season 3, right?
Yeah, and it was almost more than a set. It was like a full village. It was just amazing.
Yes.
The thing. So they provided some really great footage to us that they had like a professional camera crew doing, and I intercut it with some of my own footage. And I'm gonna
couldn't tell.
release. Yeah, well, there was some really good stuff there, but I'm gonna release like a full vlog about it and talk about the experience and show more detail. But yeah, it's. I feel like somebody told me while I was there, because they burned the entire thing down for season 1, they had to rebuild the whole thing. And I can't remember if they said they did this to the wine spring or the entire village, but I believe someone told me they rebuilt the entire set a quarter of the size larger than it was in season 1, which is interesting.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that kind of makes sense, right? If we know, if we presume that it's going to have a lot of battle and all those scenes, having more space would just make it, bigger, better. That's usually what happens with these. I feel like shows. Each season, it just gets bigger and bigger, and it's, I think, good to kind of see that. We saw some Trollocs. Were those like what were the Trollocs like? Were they just
Yeah, so I mean, I'm trying to keep my excitement down because I recognize that not everyone got this awesome experience, and it's not. I don't want to be all braggy about it. It was such a cool experience.
You should be bragging about it. You deserve it.
Well,
100% be bragging.
But so do both of you, and so do everyone in chat. Like,
I don't deserve.
I went. Well, I went there like, okay, I'm just a Wheel of Time fan. I can't believe it. This is like a dream come true. And so I filmed a lot of stuff because I wanted to get as much out to people as I could. And then, however many months later, I still haven't gotten anything out, but I'm working on it. But I do have a lot of footage, and I'm excited to show it all. That being said, yeah, it was like my jaw was down on the floor the entire time. I couldn't believe they didn't really tell us what we were going to see, and it was all like a big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that we were going to see the Two Rivers set, but I still didn't think it was going to be as like they had actors playing roles there. They had a tour guide who like pretended he was from the Two Rivers, who actually was an actor in season 2. He was the innkeeper in season 2 that Min talked to.
That's super neat.
Oh yeah.
When Min was like, someone's waiting for me upstairs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was there as a Two Rivers person, and he stayed in character the whole time. He even said things like, "Use your magical devices if you want." Like it was pretty. Because we were all like holding our phones and cameras and stuff. Anyway, it was super fun. But then they had like a functioning bellows and blacksmith, and the guy was doing like actual blacksmith work, and they had people making bread and people working with leather and all. It was just really, really cool.
That's so neat.
And some of the extras there were extras from the show. Like there was a woman there who was in season 1, episode 1, as part of the Women's Circle, which was cool. So anyway, it was such a cool experience, and I got a lot of footage that I can't wait to share. But I will say there were some things we weren't allowed to point our cameras at.
Oh.
There were some things they were like, there's season 3 spoilers, and this is a season 2, marketing thing.
Yeah.
And so there were literally big signs that said, "Do not point your cameras here." And so I was very careful not to point my camera at things. And then they provided a reel to us of footage, official footage from Amazon or whoever their video production team was, that they gave to us, and it had a lot of those things in it. And I snuck them into that little video you just watched. So recognizing,
can we talk about them?
Can you talk about them?
I mean, they gave me the footage. It's not my footage, so I think it's free. I think it's free game. So go back to the video if you can. Are you able to like pause it at certain places?
Yeah. Let me bring it up.
So I will just say this: when we drove up, so another thing that was really exciting is when they had us drive up. They told us you can't have your cameras running. But Sarah Nakamura in particular was waiting for our bus to show up, or our like van to show up.
Mm-hmm.
The fans, like those of us who were actually fans, not just influencers, because there were people there who weren't like Wheel of Time fans; they were just influencers. But there was one van that was just for us, and she was waiting to see our reactions. And when we stepped out and saw right there, if you pause it right there, when we saw what was there, I almost started to cry, and it was like so exciting, and it was so funny because Sarah was recording us and watching our reactions. I'd love to get that video, but so right here, if you look to the right, Nablus is kind of being funny and posing for this little Wheel of Time thing. They had this tent here. It was extremely muddy, so they provided boots for us in the tent, and then they had these little tents with like catering and stuff. But if you look to the right, you'll notice some like a wall of logs, spiked logs. What did we call those, John? What are those called?
Palisades, yeah.
Palisades. And then there's like a tower, like a watchtower that was built in the top right.
Right, yeah, to the top
And just to the right of all that, if you go back to the beginning of the video, is the gate that the actor was standing behind that they opened to let us in. And this gate was so the entire village was surrounded by this. Essentially, the reason why it was so exciting is because we were seeing the two rivers as it was prepared in book 4 for the Trolloc attacks. They had the armaments
inside too,
and there's dead Trollocs inside,
Right.
and they were all there with the intention of a battle that was going to happen or had happened.
That's so cool.
And so that was why my eyes went big. And I don't remember them talking about building watchtowers in the books, but it makes so much sense that they would have watchtowers.
It 100% does make sense. Yes.
And so anyway, that to me, that was what was so exciting. As far as inside the village, nothing was really spoilery except for the outer fence and that tower, that watchtower. Anyways, then the Trollocs, I don't know that they were, I think they were just like normal person-sized dummies. They didn't feel massive like they look in the show, but they just had some fun dummies there, and of course we had to pose with them and lay down next to them.
All right.
That's so neat.
I mean, that's the sort of thing you do, is you lie down with Trollocs when in the tour.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah. they made you do that. You didn't want to.
There was some there was some Trolloc
show.
nipple touching.
We're not going to do
going
that
on.
here.
In honor of Kevin, I'm sure there were some Trolloc nipples being filmed and rubbed.
You got a few up close shots of the nipples for him, and I'm sure that was enough. You're happy.
All right. Let me try to see if I can brighten some of this up, the nighttime stuff.
Oh yeah, so then there's also the nighttime shots there.
Let me pull it up here.
Honestly, you can share that one that I shared with you earlier today if you'd like.
I'm doing that here.
It's just another look at it. So if you walk into the village, you kind of see the wine spring right in the back. This shot is looking the other way. So behind the camera is the wine spring in, and this is leaving the village here. And this is one of those shots that was in my little video, which I'll release that full video on my channel the next day or two. But yeah, you can just see a little bit more of that watchtower and the gate there a little bit.
Yep.
There's also a shot kind of in the middle of that clip that I did that has Sarah and I think Critter in the shot, and you can see it pretty good there during the day.
Oh, yes.
You can see it in the background.
Let me find that for you here. I think it was...
Yeah, it's a little...
You look so happy.
I was so happy. I mean, obviously, it was a really awesome experience, but they had a camera guy following me a lot because I was just beaming and I was recording every little detail, and I think they kind of liked how much I was into it. Oh, there you go. There's the shot right there. So you can see that pretty clearly in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think
so neat.
it does look bigger. I mean, I'm not surprised that they said that, but it's there.
The other thing that was so amazing is I didn't realize they do this. When I think of like sets like this, I think of like the old westerns where it's just like a front of a building being held by boards. That is not the case here. I mean, it was raining very hard at one point and it was very muddy, and that stuff is built to withstand strong weather. I mean, these are buildings. They are not just sets. And the other thing is, it makes sense, in retrospect, but I didn't realize at the time that they also built inside of the buildings to some degree, so that if they need to shoot scenes where people are walking in and out of the buildings, it feels like there's a house inside. And so I even got a tour inside of one of the random buildings, and there is like a little bit of a bedroom in there before it becomes just like set wood, So even the interiors of some of those buildings are built. It's just crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean, all we could you having visited, what we can expect once we see it on screen it's going to be amazing. Like it
It
looks
looks
bigger.
cool in that after it's all cleaned up and
Right.
they do all the extra special nice things to it.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna look amazing.
It's going to look awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One other thing I'll tell you is we weren't allowed to film inside the wine spring inn either. But they had a movie theater built in there, like a small theater built in there, and that's where we watched the first 2 episodes together inside the wine spring inn, which was cool.
That's so cool.
But what surprised me is that it was built with the pillars and stuff that we saw in season 1 when they were inside. And so we weren't allowed to film it, and I assumed we weren't allowed to talk to it about it. But again, they gave me footage with it, so I showed it. Anyway, I asked Sarah about it, and she said, because if you remember, I did that insane video where I tried to map out the wine spring inn.
Yes.
So I was looking at every angle, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. I was
Did
confused.
you get your tape out?
I should have.
Your
My little
measuring-
magnifying glass.
little notebook.
But I asked Sarah about it, and she's like, well, remember, it did burn down. They had to rebuild it.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's not going to be the same interior as it was
They rebuilt
in season 1.
the Alviers rebuilt a home studio, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we may as well put a movie theater in there. But it was cool. Obviously, they don't film a lot of the interiors in there, but
Right.
they have the ability to as needed, which is really cool. Anyway,
Anyway, so okay, one plot point. I think we should kind of move on to plot point. I mean, we'll talk about Two Rivers in a second. That I wanted to bring up, which is probably most people's favorite part of the book. So if you haven't read The Shadow Rising, step away. But the one character that we saw that was named, let me pull that one up. I think this is it. Yep. Is this person Migrant? And it's like, who is that? And that is an Aiel, but not the Aiel that you think they are. They are someone who's in the Shadow Rising, and I have a few things that, if you don't mind, both of you reading for me. Do you want to play this out? This is a pretty cool scene.
Let's do it.
Let's
do
all
it.
right. So
Who do I get to be?
there is Lewin, and there is, let me see, Saralyn. So there's 3 people. So there's Lewin, Saralyn, and Aidan.
well, Lewin sounds like Lauren, so I'll be
Okay,
Lewin.
all right. Say Lewin.
All right.
I can play, and you can play Aidan, Adan, and I can be the rest. So that way you know.
All right. I'll be Adad. I can do that.
All right. This is chapter 25 of The Shadow Rising, The Road to the Spear. Lewin opened his mouth slowly, but Migrant spoke first. They killed them. She was staring at something in the distance, her voice as simple as a child's. The bad men heard us. Then Lewin came and killed them. You must not say things like that, child, Saralyn said soothingly. She stopped, peering into her daughter's eyes, then turned to stare uncertainly at Lewin. Is it true? We had to, Elijah said in a pained voice. They tried to kill us. They did kill Charlin. Aidan stepped back.
You killed men? What of the Covenant? We harmed no one. No one. There is no good reason to justify killing another human being. None.
They took Migrant, Great Father, Lewin said. They took Migrant and Colleen and hurt them.
There is no reason, Aidan roared, shaking with rage. We must accept what comes. Our sufferings are sent to test our faithfulness. We accept and endure. We do not murder. You have not strayed from the way. You have abandoned it. You are Daishen no longer. You are corrupt, and I will not have the Aiel corrupted by you. Leave us, strangers, killers. You are not welcome in the wagons of the Aiel. He turned his back and strode away as if they no longer existed. Saralyn and Narian stared after him, guiding the girls.
Mother, Lewin said, and flinched when she looked back at him with cold eyes. Mother, please.
Who are you that addresses me so? Hide your face from me, stranger. I had a son once with a face like that. I do not wish to see it on a killer. And she led Migrant after the others.
I am still Aiel. Lewin shouted, but they did not look back. He thought he heard Luca crying. The wind rose, picking up dust, and he veiled his face. I am Aiel!
Right, the road to the spear.
Well, we're not going to win any
Super
awards
cool.
for our acting, but that is one of the best moments in the books.
I love all that whole sequence.
Yeah,
Now that
too.
makes me happy because that's a pretty big clue that we're going to get something to do with the glass columns, at least anyway. Which there's been a whole lot of speculation that maybe we wouldn't, but
Yeah.
Well, we have to.
There's been
To me,
some-
why even have the Wheel of Time show if you're not going to have the glass columns?
Right. I mean, if we're getting someone, who's named, hey, Lauren, Kaz Swain would listen to your audio. Yes, Dana Lou. He veiled his face. Yes, that's what that happened. Yeah, I was looking through there. So Migraine is she's I think that whole passage because she gets captured, so she's mentioned before this, but I was like, this is the moment that I think is probably one of the best in there, and of course there's also the Maiden of the Spear. You know how they came in. What's her name? Morin, I think, the first Maiden of the Spear. So that whole sequence. So having that news, we can, we know Rhuidean is going to happen. Rafa said that, but the glass columns have to happen.
So
Well,
there's another little piece of evidence here too. I don't know how closely you folks are following leaks, but I'd say about less than a week ago, Narg from the Daily Trolloc, Wheel of Time Love, over on Instagram. Go follow him if you want to. He releases leak stuff all the time. He released some set pictures that he got a hold of from other public Instagram posts from people who work on the show that just posted things. And they seem to show Aiel, but in sort of the same dress as Ishamael wears. So the same type of costume, black, more modern-looking wagons, and some structures that look like they could be very futuristic type, either waygates or type of tower things. So it definitely looks Age of Legends-ish. So I think that's another little puzzle piece towards getting glass columns in the past lives of Rand when he goes through them, which I'm super excited about.
Too.
Yeah.
Also, we had that comment from Rafe about Yosha wearing prosthetics. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah, we did.
So he what did he say?
I've always thought, what if Yosha is playing like the ancestors, his own ancestors, in the glass
would be
columns?
super neat. Yeah.
I know he could be talking about like dragon tattoos or something, but I like the idea that he's talking about like Yosha actually playing those characters. How cool would that be?
Right. That would be really cool for sure. Let me actually try to find this one thing that I was trying to put together.
Yeah, I had one other question about this Migran character. It says in our document of notes that she is connected with episodes 3 and 4, which are directed by Thomas Napper.
Yes.
How do we know that?
We know that from the wherever the news came from, that Dave Hill is, Thomas Napper is going to be the director associated with this actor, and again, hard to know how much truth there is or how that's linked. But yes, okay. So let's start talking about plot lines, right? There are
my favorite part.
4 in my head, and correct me, the two of you, but there are 4 main plot lines they have to do, or at least 3 that are obvious, right? Actually, no, 4 that are obvious in my head. The Aiel Waste we just talked about, Rhuidean, Rand, the Aiel Waste has to be there. The 2 rivers, Rafe has said this, Perrin and Rand. So those are probably going to be the 2. Rafe said we're trying to focus 2 character episodes. So they had the Nynaeve episode 3 and Egwene episode 6. They had Moraine episode 6. Episode 6 in season 1. So we're gonna have a Perrin episode, which is likely gonna be 7 with Golden Eyes, and we're gonna have a Rand episode, which, again, an Aiel Waste Rhuidean. So I'm saying episode 4 is titled Rhuidean, and that's why Migrant's there, and that's your mid-season finale.
Sense.
Yeah.
Well, what are the names of those chapters? Because I also love those.
The road to the spear.
Road to the Spear.
That's 25. I think
And the
26 is
Dedicated or
dedicated. Yeah.
See, I think those are really great names too.
Yeah. So I mean, again, Rudian is easy too.
Yeah.
So the Aiel Waste and the Two Rivers. The other one that
two of
he
them, yep.
said is Tanchico, right? And
Yep,
we know the
100%, yep.
Tanchico plot line with Malgadian, Nynaeve, and Elaine is a big one. And
Mhm.
I think the last one that has to be there is the White Tower and Caemlyn. So the White Tower, the Caemlyn can't be its own plot line. The White Tower has to be a plot line. So those are the four main plot lines, right? Is that fair to
Yeah,
say?
100%.
I
So
think
so
so.
we can now speak on the leaks surrounding the plot lines, I guess. So we know what
Yes.
we can say what we know about them.
Yeah.
Um, do you want to start with the first one, Lauren? The tower,
Yes.
White
Well,
Tower?
so from what I understand is the tower coup will be happening early season one.
Yeah.
Um, the Aiel Waste, if that theory about or the connection between Migran, whatever her name was,
Yeah,
and
Migrin.
Thomas Napper is true, then that would imply that Ruidian slash Aiel Waste is maybe episodes 3, 4
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah,
some
that
degree,
makes sense.
one or
Yeah.
the other, maybe both.
Right.
The Battle of the Two Rivers, very likely we're going to get a lot of Two Rivers um, mid to late season, and then I'm sure finale with 7 and maybe 8, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Do we? One question I have about the Aiel Waste: do we think we'll be getting Couladin and Alcardal or whatever it's called, the Golden Bowl, and Rand basically revealing and making it rain and
I
all
mean,
of
that's
that? Do we think
that's.
that's also happening in
I mean, that's
season
the
two?
Shadow Rising, right? That's the end of the Shadow
It
Rising.
it is, but I don't know if we're going to get that because how are we getting to the waste first off? Like
Right.
we're all pretty sure that probably tier isn't happening in this season, or if it is
Right.
happening, it's happening very, very late in the
Right.
season if they happen to
See, I
include
just
it.
don't think there's room to fit it, but maybe.
Yeah, so will he proclaim himself at the Golden Bowl? Will he do that stuff? Are they going to fight Couladin and have those big battles in season three, or will that be something that they kind of skip over? Couladin is likely in the show
Yeah.
considering some of the audition scripts we have, um,
Let's
but
let me share that.
Well, it's also possible that Rand discovers traveling earlier, and that they go
that would
straight from
be a
Falm or Caemlyn to
that would
the
be a
Aiel
great
Waste.
addition to the show and cut out a lot of the travel time and a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
filler in between.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's already
so
been set
yeah,
up. It's been teased in season 2.
yeah.
All right. Do
So
do
it's entirely
either of you
possible.
want to play Couladin in this script? Do, or do you want me to poll people who should be Couladin?
Pull people,
All right.
pull the fans.
All right, I'm
Go
gonna
and pick Lauren.
pull. I ended our last one. Well, we see Hopper in season 3. Pretty much 90. There's 8% of people who. Like, I don't know why you said no. You're just trolling us here. Who do you want to see portray Couladin on the Dusty Wheel?
Matt Hatch.
And
John?
while people are filling that out, can we
Yeah.
discuss? So, if we think Caemlyn is happening early season 3, as well as White Tower coup, do we think Egwene, Elaine, Nynaeve will be at the tower during the coup, or do you think they'll be in Caemlyn?
I think they'll be elsewhere.
And then Matt maybe will overhear that they're in trouble, and he'll chase them to Tanchico, sort of like the way he
Yes.
chases them to Tyr in book
All
3.
right. So now we're talking about Matt. We brought up Matt. Why is Matt not going to the waste?
Well, yeah, so that's frankly, I really want Matt to go to the waste, but it sounds
So-
like from the rumors we've heard he's going to Tanchico.
We don't know for sure he's not going to the waste, but I did a leaks video on the Tanchico plotline, and I'm saying it right now, folks. I said it wrong in my video the whole time, and I got so much crap for that forever.
I loved it so much watching it. I'm like, this is amazing.
I was doing it on purpose after a little bit because people were so mad about it, and then I felt bad, so I stopped.
Please
But-
go.
so-
Please go. Someone put that in chat. Go watch John say Tanchico. It's awesome.
Um, so during my leaks video, I talk about who's in the Tanchico storyline. So we know for sure, or well, we don't know for sure. Take this with a grain of salt. It's not official. It's not from Amazon. It's from me. It's a leak. That we had Elaine, we had Nynaeve, we had Min, we had Tom, and we had Matt. Those were the main players in that storyline in season 3. As far as the other side of the coin, we also had Leandrin. We had a couple of other Black Aja as well. And Malkedian. They were all within Tenchi. Now I'm going to revert back to saying what I said in my video. Tanchico. So with all of them being there and the way it's set up, if you watch my video, I talk about it a bit. I speculated that they probably just merged the Abudar and the Tanchico storylines together because it makes sense to that they're essentially the same storyline with slight variations. They're going to search for something. They're going to find something. It's pretty much the same players in both spots. I would say the Bowl of the Winds is likely not even going to be in the show because they've not mentioned the weather very much at all. So that's probably just cut out. They're probably going there after the object of power that could hurt Rand.
Right.
And that was alluded to, I think, in the finale of episode 8 of season 2, because Lanfear said it to Bail Damon, but she said it about the seals. It was the exact line from the books about the male Adam, but it was for the seals. So it might be a good segue to that. So that's what we know, or what we know, what I revealed, I guess I should say, about that particular storyline. So if Matt's there, and he's likely there for a good portion of the season, because they have to set up him going there and getting there with them, and he may travel initially there with them. He may follow them, and they may be set on the path together right away. And they meet Tom there. Tom is in there, and that's where they meet him.
Is this all
Is he going to the
speculation?
waste?
This is speculation you're saying? Because
It's
I
all
would
part of
love
the
it if
leaks.
Matt and Tom. I would love it if Matt and Tom gang up and go to chase them there, kind of like in book 3.
No, that's not how it happes. That's they meet Tom and in there. And offline later, I'll tell you how they meet because it's pretty interesting. So does that leave a lot of room for Matt to go to the waste? I don't know. The waste scenes are being filmed now as we speak. At least a lot of them. There were some things likely filmed earlier in the season from Roydian because Rafe Judkins had mentioned when he was at the con stuff, he'd just come from the set at Roydian and flew in and stuff. So we know some things were filmed earlier. So it's possible that Donald Finn was on set and filming then, but he's not on set filming right now, as far as we know, because he's doing his Hadestown, which is amazing from all accounts. But that doesn't even hold a lot of time to film in South Africa. So will he be in the waste? Will we get the Redstone door frame, or will that happen in Tanchico? That's up to speculation, I guess.
Right. I like this. Boots of Time. Cillian Murphy, my dream pick for Culloden. So whoever wins this poll is doing Cillian Murphy playing Culloden.
Who's winning right now? I hope it's Lauren, because I'm
not at all. You've got 70% of the vote.
We're not going to do impressions here. Everything I say, every impression I do, regardless of what it is, sounds like Paul Rudd in He's the Man doing the slapping the bass. Like, it's just not working.
Okay, so I know we're all over the place on this, but so Matt going to Tanchico, very likely.
Yeah.
But we also know that they're shooting some accepted test scenes in season 3. Yep. And we know that Lelaine, what's her name, is the
Akashi,
quote unquote keeper of the Chronicles. Could that not be an Egwene thing, where it's part of her accepted test?
Ooh.
That's my thinking.
It's an Egwene thing because she's her keeper. Is how I would, not her keeper, but like the keeper for the coups happening, right? So maybe they don't have an Armerlin, but they still like have a keeper. I don't know if that makes sense.
See, I don't think so. I think she is going to be Egwene's keeper in accepted test vision. And
I
she's
like,
just
I just
Elaine.
feel like that's too much, right? Let's put this up for a little while, right? Sorry, I think Carrie, we were in, but let's put full book spoilers, even though we're still talking book 6.
Full book spoilers?
Egwene,
Can I just ruin shit for no reason now? Let's do that.
No. Let's not do that. But Egwene, like you want the Egwene being Armerlin to be hinted at, not, you don't want to see that in a accepted test, because if we do, then like that whole, when I first read the books, didn't see it coming when it happened. I know a lot of people.
She was the Amerlin in her accepted test in book 3.
I know, but like
100%.
like, and
that was when they were gonna
she was
turn
in
her, right?
Flicker
Like they were
Flicker
going
too.
And
was in
Maureen literally told her, "You'd make a great omelet in book
I know.
one."
I know.
A lot of
She was
foreshadowing. A lot of foreshadowing.
I know. There was flicker, but it didn't. It just didn't. And I'm sure their
And in
watchers.
season 1, they've also hinted. There's a
I
lot
know.
of foreshadowing in the
Yes.
show too.
I know, but like seeing it on TV with the stole, that seals it. I think in terms of like an actual like future for like most people are like, oh, that's the future, right? Like even though it didn't work out that way for Nynaeve, like the visuals of seeing her in the Armorland should be in my opinion. I'd love it to be the first time it happens, not a.
So do you think we get something as quick as Egwene comes out of the final arch and that's it? Oh, she's an accepted now, and we never even see what she goes through. You think that's how they address that? Just like a quick, okay, Egwene's accepted.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? I'd love to see Egwene, but like, do we have to see accepted tests like that? That was a huge, amazing episode, and how do you give it the same kind of feeling?
Wait, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
without doing it the same.
We know
way.
they're doing it for sure because Rafe had said that because
Yes.
that chamber factored heavily
Well,
into season 3.
the chamber, but we don't know if we're going to see her visions.
We don't. Yeah,
That's
we
the
don't know if we
question,
see her
right?
visions. She
Right.
may, like you said, she may just come out, and I think that might be it. She comes out, she's mad. She just comes out mad and like angry, like Nynaeve was,
Right.
which is possible.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
yeah, you're right. There's so many ways they can do it, but I think you're right. The Lane could be a vision of sorts. Could it be a dream, capital D, right? So that
Oh,
she
yeah.
could dream,
Oh, that hasn't really
and
started
she
yet.
sees
Yes.
it. She's talking to someone, and it's maybe her POV, and she's the keeper, and like you don't see her as the Amerlin. Like there's ways you could do it without giving it away and use that. All right, okay. I think let's end this poll. It's or maybe I did end it. Yeah, I did. And John, you
Lauren won.
you.
I definitely did not.
All right, Lauren, do you want to play the other person? Or do you want me to play the other person?
I'm happy to. Yeah,
All right, okay.
All right, let's rock and
two of
roll.
you. Let me put this.
let's
up
both be
here.
Coolidin at the same time.
Double voice go. All
All right. All right, and action.
right, so you would have us declare our allegiance to a wetlander,
It is a prophecy foretold.
a prophecy 3,000 years old, translated from a dead language, passed down generations from mouth to mouth, twisted, misinterpreted to fit around this imposter. Only you were fool enough to believe him, but I know the truth. I've entered Rodian. I've seen our people's past and our future.
You've disobeyed the wise ones by entering Ruidion without permission.
Yes, without. Why not? He who comes with the dawn brings change, does he not?
You call yourself he who comes with the dawn? Then tell me, what did you see there?
I will speak of it with no one, not even you. But what I saw was holy. I am holy. I know the glory of our people's past, the glory that I will bring back to us. I am Couladin of the Domai Sept of the Shaidu Aiel. I am he who comes with the dawn. Now bow before me.
All right. So this is, a back in October, WOT series put out this audition tape for an Aiel trying to get ahead. So a lot of this is, things they saw, and this is the script they put out. Like stuff like He Who Comes with the Dawn may be Karn. Now, the thing with these scripts, looking back to season 1 and 2, I don't know if you remember the season 2 one with Avienda and Perrin. It was almost word to word.
It was pretty
same.
close, yeah.
Yeah. So again, that's not usually the case with scripts like this, but in at least the Wheel of Time, what we've realized, we've seen it, so that doesn't mean it's going to be the same. Some of this, if you go look at that WOT series article, they link to the book, The Shadow Rising, and how there are excerpts that match some of the words that Couladin's using. So this seems like a great, way to introduce a character like Couladin. And
But you also never know, right? They could cut him completely. They could,
right.
I mean, even like Ingtar in season 2 ended up getting a lot cut, right?
Yeah, I mean, Rafe said that Rafe has promised us. No, I don't know if he's promised us two deleted scenes. One is a Min scene related to her visions and how they're not fallible. Right, I think that that's what he said. That was a Q&A. It was a Twitter Q&A I forget exactly which. It wasn't the gin and tonic. It was the writer's strike. After episode 6 when the writer's strike.
The writer's strike ended,
yeah,
and then he did the Q&A. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's that. And then, at that New York Comic Con, after New York Comic Con, episode 8 showing, he mentioned that there is a what's his name? The person you just mentioned, Inktar. There's an Inktar deleted scene that they played out, they filmed it, but they didn't use it because it just didn't fit within episode 8.
Build them up, so
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of a flat reveal.
Yeah, that's too bad because obviously, as a book reader, I was looking forward to it, but I agree it wasn't set up enough.
You know what I meant, Christian, like that. Yes, exactly. I think not infallible or fallible. Is fallible even a word? But
they are fallible. Yeah.
I barely speak English. I'm not sure.
But so yeah, there's two things that you're right. There was a whole Matt as Matt heroes, not Hero of the Horns, that wasn't that we saw that never made it to the show. So there's definitely stuff like that. So those are Matt, Elaine, Avienda, and them going to Tanchico. That's it'll be interesting how that plays out. I just personally want to see Matt and Leandrin. Like that was a plot like thread that I feel
Yes.
like makes sense that Matt would want to go where Leandrin is going. Like if Leandrin did something and maybe Min is involved, that would make Matt want to go there with extra incentive that Nynaeve and Elaine are going to be there. So that makes sense. And then Tom joins in somehow. Again,
Yeah.
That's
I
how
totally agree. I think because it sounds like they're changing Matt's story the most, or at least he's not going to the waste, right? I actually do like the idea that
We don't know
with
for sure.
Leandrin.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure.
Yeah, we don't know anything for sure. We don't know anything. We're just talking, right?
Right.
We're all Jon Snows.
Don't know nothing. So my question. Okay, so Battle of the Two Rivers. Do we think Loial will be there?
It has to be. Like where else can Loial be? He's
I'd
there.
I'd say it's a fair bet.
What about Lord Luke / Isam?
Okay.
However you
All
say
right.
it.
So-
I'd say that's also a fair bet because do you have that there too to key up?
Yes, I can.
'Cause there
I
is
can
another
bring that
additional
up.
script
Yeah.
including him.
And I can read this. So this is from May of last year from WOT series, and again, this is a audition script, but they describe. They're describing what happens in it. This scene takes place between a Two Rivers farmer and Perrin, who are talking late at night. The farmer says he needs to return to his farm because Lord Luke has instructed them to do so. They have an argument over whether this is reasonable, as Perrin believes Lord Luke isn't to be trusted since he's an outsider and could just abandon them at any time. The farmer retorts that while things are different now, at least they have protection. He's frustrated at being ordered around by Perrin, who he's known since birth. He reminds Perrin that they're farmers, not fighters, which he'd remember if he hadn't been gone for so long. So, I mean, based on this, there is script that mentions Lord Luke, and I think it makes sense to have a little bit more nuance there. I mean, you can add Fane, who has been there. Dane is going to be there. But I think adding another antagonist like that makes sense. I don't know Valda. That was my only other thought is how do they get Valda there? I think it makes sense.
Well, and also Carradine. It's like,
I mean, the buyer. I mean, I think that. Do you think that's probably what happens? Carradine is buyer, not Bors.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe. Although we still know there's a White Cloak that was in the Darkfriend social, and we still don't know who that was. So
we don't know who that was.
Because I personally don't think Eamon Valda is a Dark Friend. I think he's just like Elida. He's one of. Oh, sorry, full spoilers. We're still on full spoilers.
We're full
He's
spoilers.
he's like Elida. He's just stupid.
Yeah. So in the chat, Smitten for Fiction just said, I thought audition scripts nowadays were purposely inaccurate to the actual show. Sometimes that happens, yes. However, for the Wheel of Time, every audition script that we've gotten so far has been almost perfect with the actual scenes in the show.
Yeah, except with a
so we have
few
no
code
reason to-
words.
Yeah,
changed,
code words and stuff, changed names. So there's no reason to believe that the season 3 ones are any different. Oh, they may be.
Yeah.
This might all be just a bunch of red herrings, like the Lord of the Rings people were doing, putting out fake stuff all the time
Yeah.
to mess with the
Could
content
be.
creators, which was not great.
Well, you know what else is interesting is a lot of these scripts might have changed more if not for the writer's strike. It's
Yes, yep.
possible that the
Yeah.
writer's strike made it so that some of the stuff they wrote earlier on stayed that way.
Right. Right. I
Because
mean,
typically revision is common throughout production,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
they were revising a lot less from what I understand during season three
I know.
shooting because of the strike. So
Right. Um, I think um, the fact that I'm blanking on John what you said in terms of um,
the scripts being the same, or
yeah, you know, the fact that we've had that before doesn't really mean too much, but what they did with Lord of the Rings does make you seem a little worried. Although we are not the Lord of the Rings fandom, we are statistically the best fandom, so
Yeah,
there's
100%.
no, they're not going to do that to us for sure, right? But
No,
yeah, Battle of the Two
no.
Rivers, that plotline, Perrin, Dane Bornhold, Bane and Chiad,
Gaul?
Gaul, right? Gaul is the question mark. Elias is the question mark. Does Elias need to be there? I think Hopper
well,
more
and then
than Elias.
also you've got Alana, Varen, maybe like it
Varen,
gets
yeah,
it gets bloated real quick.
yeah.
If we're
I think there's, I think you know, Varen, Alana, like they're big players. They have to be there. Um, yeah, it's a lot of people. Like
yeah.
it's a lot of people. How are they going to do this in 8 episodes? We just talked about two plot lines, but I think what we know based on what cast have said, and I'll show you this. Season 3 is going to be awesome. There's going to be so many things there. So
And then season 3.
Yeah, season 3
Which
just
we're
goes
sure-
mad.
we're just-
Season 3,
we're
we're
just
just
frolicking.
exploding everything.
Boom.
Season 3 is we're being as free as we can. I mean, season 3 pushes every boundary out there.
so season 3 pushes every boundary out there. So uh, I don't know how they'll do
Saltburn
it.
2.0, is it?
Yeah. Oh gosh, no, please. I don't need.
The-
I don't want those kinds of bath scenes.
so okay, so you know, Aiel Waste. I mean, we talked about Tanchico. We talked about the Battle of the Two Rivers. I think the Caemlyn White Tower one. The question marks are, how do we, you know, Swan and Lyanna, and how that happens? What happens with them? Are they big players? Because we saw Swan not dead but defeated, and has you know, Moraine has left with the Dragon Reborn and Forsaken. What do you think?
So we're
what do you think
fairly
happens?
certain. We're fairly certain season 3 opens with the tower coup because they filmed it early for sure, and there were a lot of leaked photos of bloody warriors and sets and blood on the White Tower walls and things like that.
And
that
we know
really
that
kind of implied that.
they're going to be action heavy, right? Because of who's
And
directing.
yeah, because Kyrion's directing them. So my guess is that they go back to the tower and Swan is just not popular at that point because of what happened with Moraine and Lanfear and the Dragon Reborn.
Mhm.
And we'll likely see the tower coup early, and I would assume it would be instigated by Elida because she's going to be in Caemlyn because they film those scenes early, and she may just be angry and hear about all these things and go to the tower and just kind of put her foot down, and that's what starts the coup. Sort of like the books. Most of that happened kind of off page, I think. We didn't really hear about the coup until it was mostly over, and then Swan was chucked in the dungeons, and it all kind of happened off until they escaped, right?
That's
Right.
true.
And if I have a guess, and this is not based on any insider information or leaks or anything like that, if I had a guess, my guess is rather than being in prison, Swan is likely not going to make it out of the tower coup. Um, because Sophie has mentioned a number of different times that her schedule is tight. It's hard to get on set for filming Wheel of Time. She's a very popular actress. She has a lot of work on the go, and the production schedule for Wheel of Time is not exactly the greatest. So it would be, I think, an easy thing for her to be written out that way that probably wouldn't hurt the plot lines for much later on in the books because Moraine could certainly, if they don't follow the plot line for what happens in the Fires of Heaven with Moraine, which is debatable, could certainly take her spot later on in advising Egwene, which keeps Rosamund relevant for the later parts of the series. So I think maybe that would be, if it happens, I think it would be a smarter kind of move, because they're starting to pare down the characters, because they're going to be they have to add more characters, and there's too many for the 8 episodes they have per season.
Okay, so
I
I think
it's
what you're
tricky, too,
trying to
because-
get to is, I think the question, right, is who is going to die in season 3 that
Yes.
Rafe,
Yeah.
that Rafe
He has mentioned that, yeah.
in New York Comic Con back in 2021. He's talking about, and then we got to like table reads, and it said that person dies in season 3, and people were like, lost their crap. So someone dies in season 3. I think that's the question. So Swan.
I think
Swan is a
Okay.
candidate.
Who else?
Definitely
This
up
is the
there.
poll. This is the poll. Swan's there. Who? Moraine.
Well,
You
my-
have to include one of Alana's warders.
Yeah, one of Alana's warders for sure.
Okay,
And
so-
I actually think the show. I know that we aren't sure if Ivan is coming back, right? Because Maxim is Taylor Napier, right?
Yeah.
But I actually think the show has been setting up that Maxim is going to die.
Right.
There's been some foreshadowing related to that in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying thematically it makes more sense that he would. I also think Moraine is a possibility, and when I say die, I say it in quotes, like
The door frame scene.
Swan could die. People would lose their minds. Yes, Dana Lou. Yes, people.
They would.
lose
They
their
100% would. Just
I'll
as
tell
much as
you-
they did when Uno died.
minds. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you my biggest
no one thought
reason
that was coming
why
either.
I don't want Swan to die early on.
Mhm.
I could see her dying, but I feel like she and Moraine need to have some sort of closure first, especially
I would
after
I need
what
some
happened
more of
in
that.
season 2.
I like Dana Lou's like anybody, not Steve.
Steve,
not Steve.
you got to add Steve to the poll for sure.
All right. Okay.
We'll put
So
Steve in the
well, Steve's gonna win the poll. You know that. Swan, Moraine,
Swan,
Alana's
Moraine,
warder. Who's
and
the fourth?
one of Alana's warders.
Okay.
Parent. No.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I mean, it could be a Forsaken.
No, Lanfear's not.
I don't think that wouldn't shock people though. That wouldn't
Yeah.
cause people to lose their minds, because they're the bad guys. They're meant to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Samael or Ravine or whoever it is very likely to die, right? At the end of the season.
So
Asmodean?
Yeah. I
Big
mean,
It
again,
shows up
Big
and
ass
is dead within
Odin.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I like this.
Logain?
Multiple people on the list will die. Logain.
I never even considered that one.
Do we
That's-
know about Alvaro Morte? Has he been seen anywhere? In Prague,
I don't think.
South Africa?
I haven't heard anything.
I mean, John, did you know much about Logain for season 2? I didn't know anything until I saw him in the
Nope.
trailer. So
I knew he was in it, because he was in and around Prague at certain time
Right.
frames and stuff like that, and he had posted some stuff
right.
on Instagram things. But season 3, it's about that level. Like it's very debatable.
Right.
What he's going to be in, or if it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to think that he's becomes a major player later on, but I
Right.
don't know.
I agree
Yeah,
with there's 2 comments. One is Rafe likes Logain too much, surely.
Okay.
And I kind of agree with that. Also,
Yeah, I
Logain
do
is
too.
a big player late books.
Okay.
And then someone suggested Morgaze, which I actually think is a really strong choice.
Well, I mean, but
F.
like, Morgase shows up and dies. Like it doesn't have it doesn't speak to what Rafe was talking about, I think, right?
Well, and in my opinion, when Rafe said that, he kind of flubbed, and he almost said someone's going to die at the end of season 3. He almost said at the end, and then he
Yes,
caught
yes, I
himself and
agree,
said
yeah.
in season 3.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's no way that's pretty close to what he meant, I think.
But if it's
Okay.
Swan,
So-
that could be early season 3.
All right.
If,
So
if we're
Swan,
talking Tower
Moraine,
Coup.
one of Alana's water. Okay. Do you think Logain? Who should I put there? Logain or Morgase? What do you think?
I don't think Logain, realistically.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, Morgase maybe, but it's not an impactful death, and it's not something that's going to surprise people.
All right. So
because
I'm gonna put Logain.
She's perceived
poll.
Yeah, that's
in
fine.
in the books
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
I do think I don't want it to be one of Alana's warders, just because that's kind of sad and boring to me. Like we
Well,
do
it
know
has
that one
to
of them
happen,
dies in
right?
book 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it had-
There's also so much foreshadowing about. So one of the things that they say in Wheel Takes podcast, which I absolutely love, they talk about Maxim, how it's been very strongly foreshadowed that he will die, and he talks about how Alana pretty much always masks his bond,
Mhm.
unless they're in certain situations. And I think what will happen is because the bond will be masked, and this is their theory. I'm taking this from Real Takes.
Yeah.
Because the bond is masked, she'll lose the warder, which will teach Alana to never again mask her bond with someone, so that when something happens with Rand, she'll never want to mask it. She'll always want to know where he is.
Yeah.
To me, that's a really
that is a very
setup.
Good theory.
Yeah, I mean they came up with it, and I think it's brilliant, and
Yeah.
I want it to be true. But there's a lot of things that I think should have happened between Swan and Moraine that didn't pan out. So that's why I don't want Swan to die early on.
Luz Jr. put it a little bit less, more straightforward. He done because he's bound.
He done.
Max's bond is masked most of the time. He done. Okay, I think so. So we put that on there just. I thought, just to other things that I saw out there that were, talked about season 3. This was from the New York Comic Con last year, 2023. Someone asked, in the season 2 finale, Leandra is nowhere to be seen, which means she's somewhere doing something, and you promised that we will know, right? You will know right up top, season 3, what Leandra's doing up to. And it kind of goes back to what you said, John, right? Like, that where should Landron be? She should be at the tower, and that if you see her right up there, figuring out what's going on, the tower coup, the Black Aja, all of that, that makes sense. So
I agree. It all kind of happens at once.
And they all flee. They take off.
Yeah.
The only thing I think we can add to that is they have to set up something between Egwene and Elida. They have to meet. In my opinion, that's so important. I mean, whether that happens in Caemlyn or the White Tower, I don't know, but it has to happen. I actually like the idea that Elida is not there for the coup, and that Egwene is in Caemlyn and meets Elida there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Elida obviously has been mentioned, not because we think Shorak Dashlu is going to play Elida. Rafe has said, Rafe, are you going to make us fall in love with the mistiest queen of all, Elida, aka Messiah? And Rafe said, I've fallen in love with her. So that I think that's confirmation, right? Like, that is confirmation from the showrunner that she's been cast. Take everything else away. And I think there was one more from that Rafe thing that I don't know what to make of, and it's this one. Let me just zoom in so it looks okay. This was the Q&A after episode 6. What part of the 6 episodes that we have already seen have you the most excitement or interest in? How it will link into future plot lines from the books due to changes in the show? Anver. I personally didn't think Anver would make it into season 3 and Karien and all that, but
well, I don't think she'll be in season 3, but that doesn't mean she won't be in a future plot.
Yeah, but
so you have the whole Succession plot line. You have all of that stuff going on. They can condense all of that and just cram it right into Karien.
I think she's absolutely Colivir. I think she's taking Colivir's place.
Okay, so you don't think this is a season 3 thing? Do you think this is? I mean, but he's talking about the 6 he's not.
Well, the 6 episodes he's seen
right
of the season 3.
No, I think
that was season 2.
Oh, that was season 2. Okay,
yeah, that was season 2. What I'm saying is why would Rafe bring up the Anver plot line if it was season 4 or beyond? Like, it just seems an odd.
Well, he has plans. He has plans for her.
I know. I know, but it's just I thought it was an interesting answer. Like, that's the thing that he's looking forward to. That he's excited.
I mean,
about.
maybe I don't see how it fits, but maybe we do get some Karien in season 3 somehow. I just feel like we spend so much time there in season 2.
Unless
we need
she's
to be in other places.
Unless she turns out to be Forsaken, that's the only thing I can think of that she was a Forsaken, but makes no sense, right?
Well, Lanfear could pretend to be her,
right? Let's talk about Forsaken, right? So we spoke about. I think it's probably we're getting towards the 2-hour mark here, and we might have another something to show. People who've stuck around will give away a mug. But there might be other stuff we might show in a little bit.
Oh yeah, there's things we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
there's one other thing. Somebody said in chat, is Anver getting the Caroline Demodrid plot? I could see that happening too. I think that
Yeah.
could be melded in with everything.
There's not enough time to introduce all those characters and all the other houses and everything else that's going to go on. I think they're just going to take existing people we've seen and use them for the Game of Houses stuff.
Yeah.
And there are those who believe Moraine will stay on the show because Rosamund Pike's such a big get that they won't ever kill her off, and so that's more fodder for her character too.
I mean, it makes sense to continue. They can use her in many different ways, like you said, John, as the Swan, Egwene person. Just so we, for completion's sake, there is an Aiel female character audition script on what series that is likely a Wise Ones. There is a Senbui audition script.
There's a Gowan one.
There is a Gowan one, and the Gowan one is from like 2 years, a long time ago,
that
that people thought,
one,
they
thought it was season 2, but it is season 3 edition.
Yeah.
Script.
Oh yeah.
Let me just put it up so you can. We don't have to. As much as John, you want to play out Gowan, and I was leading up to this.
I'm not pretty enough. I'm sorry.
But this was somebody talking to Gowan, and they're talking about a city that's going to be sacked. I think this is that one. There's something something that doesn't make sense about the name Damodred that's there, and there's another one. Let me pull that one up here again. These are all from what series. You can find it on their website. Go check them out. Obviously, they're awesome. We did have what series look at our thing, at our work, and make sure we weren't like totally off on things. And this is the other one. This is the one where I think they're gonna a city's gonna be sacked, and someone is talking to Gowan. Matt, someone we don't know, but yeah. So there are Gowan scripts that are out there.
Oh, don't we also know that some form of Matt fighting Gowan and Glod is still going to happen? Didn't Rafe say something about that?
Yes.
Yes.
That hasn't happened.
It was mentioned.
It was a Q&A.
That
a believable
scene.
a believable.
I asked the question, and he answered me, and he said that they definitely are filming it, but in a more believable fashion.
I wonder if it'll happen during the tower coup. Maybe it'll happen during the
Gowan
coup.
wins. Makes me happy.
That's the believable version.
That's good. And just so we mentioned this. I want to quickly show this. This is the Samael. Someone is holding Samael captive, and we don't know who it is. But Samael's like, well, you can't do this for long. I know you're strong, but I've been waiting 3,000 years to get here. So that's why we think Samael's going to be there. I think all of the auditions
that covered all of our points for
Yes.
I think what we know about season 3.
That is pretty much everything we know about season 3. But it is 2024, right? And
Good year.
It's
or
a good
more.
year. Matt might be away, but that doesn't mean the cogs stop turning. So let me show you the people who stayed. Why don't you take a look at a little something that again, Lauren Magic. So there you go. What Idol 2024. We've started to talk a little bit about it. Matt, before he went away, Matt before he went said that's when he wants to kind of come back, do that later in the year. He said I spoke to him maybe a couple weeks ago, and he was like he's excited to come back to WalkCon. He said yes, What Idol. So gentlemen, we have to start. You've done this for 3 years, so you know what this means when this time comes around and the planning starts. I was involved last year, and that was fun, behind the scenes. Do we have anything more to tell people listening?
Start working now. We'll release when submissions are open soonish. We can't confirm dates just yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's
but,
tentative. We have
everything's
plans
tentative.
where things are in the works, but
If you
we can't-
see season 3 principal photography be done, ramp up your efforts is what I would say.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say that we would plan to have it prior to WotCon. I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
is a fair thing to say. We plan to have WOT Island prior to WotCon, and there are going to be a couple of changes this year due to popular demand. I don't think we haven't really hammered out exactly how we're going to handle them just yet. But there's been a few things that people have been asking for the last couple of years that we're going to change and allow to happen this year, which is nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's going to be bigger and better, I think. What else can we say? I'm kind of fishing here because we had a lot of long discussions about this, but we never really decided we're going to say these things. So
Yeah, well, and also, we're 3/4 of the village council.
Yeah.
One of them has not been around, so we don't
Yeah.
want to make promises without making sure that everyone's on board.
Yeah.
But our tentative plans are, we're hoping sometime mid to late April is when you can start submitting, but we don't know for sure if that'll happen. That's kind of what we're hoping for, but And then as far as one of the changes that I think we can talk about is we're going to allow people to opt into whether or not they want to be involved with the competition aspect of it, or if they'd rather be part of more like just a talent showcase or an exhibition where we get to watch their parodies without them feeling judged or part
Right.
of the competition, because I know that can be stressful for some people. So those are the things that we can say that we've been discussing.
Yeah.
I think.
And again, there's so much, I feel like before we'll drag Matt into a meeting before we hammer out like
kicking
the
and
final
screaming
details.
if we have to.
Yeah, exactly. Before we do the submissions, and he can choose to come or not, because I think we have to start planning in somewhere or not, right? And it'll be fun to again. I've already seen people like, I'd recorded my parody, or I've written my parody, or I'm gonna do this next. So this is kind of the primer to be like, yes, it's around the time that we are actually probably planning it. It's later in the year this year, but it'll still happen, and it'll be a lot of fun. So look forward in this space in the next foreseeable future.
Soonish.
Yeah. Okay, I think that is everything. John, is there anything else you want to say? Your hopes and dreams for season 3?
My hopes and dreams for season 3. Well, I think a lot of my hopes and dreams are hinged on the fact that we see Caemlyn. So I know we're going to do that. So it makes me happy.
All right.
I want more episodes. I know it won't happen. I
Mhm.
want longer time frames. I also know that won't happen. But I'm content with what we're getting, because it's just Wheel of Time stuff. I'm happy with any Wheel of Time stuff. If anybody watches my channel, you know that. If it's Wheel of Time related in any way, shape, or form, I'm happy with it, even if a lot of other people aren't. And that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Lauren, what's coming up on Unraveling Pattern? Do you have any? Are you just trying to, you're waiting for?
Did you see my 1,000-yard stare there?
Oh no.
No, but I mean, there's not much news. I mean, the fact that I did this is like gather everything together. There hasn't been anything.
Well, I gotta say, first of all, thanks for doing this and inviting me, because this has really reignited my excitement about a lot of things. And we actually know a lot more about season 3 at this point than we did at this point about season 2, right?
We do.
I feel like we do.
I don't. It always gets.
It feels to me like season 2 was a lot more mysterious, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is super exciting. This has got me pumped up.
Yep.
My life is crazy. I'm telling people right now, my YouTube channel is basically my fourth job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much true. I mean, I am just very busy with other things that unfortunately have to come first.
Yeah.
But that being said, I haven't even finished my season 2 Unraveled videos. I need to do episode 3, I need to do episode 4, and I need to do episode 8, which will probably be a 2-parter.
Mm-hmm.
My Prague trip stuff, I was going to do one big video. I think that's going to have to be 3 videos. I'm going to have to talk about Two Rivers in its own video, and then Tarvalon in its own video, and then some of the interviews and things I did in its own video. So that stuff will happen at some point. Anyway, and you know how I am. I'm like the dog in Up. Squirrel. I run after things that excite me. So if I want to make another random speculation video about Moraine being killed off, I might do that. So
I mean, Rings of Power. I mean, you did a lot of Rings of Power stuff.
Yeah, and it was too much work for like no views. So I probably won't do that again.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm excited about Wheel of Time. I have a backlog of 1,000 ideas that I may never get to, and I have people saying, "When are you going to start doing Cosmere videos?" And I'm like, "That's funny." I don't even. That's not even like. I would love to.
Cosmere 101.
I would love. I want to do that
video.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to pay me a full-time salary, I'll start.
All right. Hey.
I will go work for Lauren.
That would be so. Oh man, let's just get like a Wheel of Time conglomerate.
Yeah, but no, thank you both for being here. I thought it was a lot of fun just looking back at everything. I mean, at least maybe the fact that you put together that, hopefully we can get to see something related to that, Lauren. Right? Maybe. No, I don't want to be like.
Well, I will say I've been thinking about doing for What Idol. I've been thinking about doing the Cheers theme song, some sort of Cheers theme parody for a long time. But I have some ideas in the works. Whether I am able to do them all, I don't know. I built that thing today. I had a little bit of free time today, so that was fun. That little
That was awesome.
Thing.
I mean, when I opened it, I was like I just sat there for like a few minutes, being like, it's just awesome that you just came up with that today.
Well, I've been thinking about it for months.
I know.
I've been thinking about, but I have some ideas. I'm excited. This is also why I want an exhibition round for What Idol, so that I can submit. Because I can't be a part of the competition, but I love making dumb videos like that, so I want to do that. Not to say parodies are dumb; they're awesome, but mine are going to be dumb. So
heavily featuring what's that show that you like that you almost always mention?
Wheel of Time?
No. With Job and
Arrested Development. Always. I will always have Arrested Development memes in everything I do.
All right. I'm gonna quickly do people have stood around for a while. I'll do a giveaway and let everyone go get on with their night or day. So a Dusty Wheel mug raffle has started. Do exclamation point raffle and to enter. And we'll give away a mug, and then I don't have anything planned for. I in my mind, just talking about here at the Dusty Wheel. I do want a few things in mind that I want to do. I don't know how I'll do some of these things. I try to get back a little bit to the books to do some deep dives. I did show people this, which I think. Both Matt and I have been trying to plan for, I feel like, over a year, and never got around to doing, because it's just some of these deep dives, they take a lot of time to do. The water bond and Aes Sedai, that's one that I start working on it, and I'm like,
that'd be a big one.
Yeah, and I recently did a Logain deep dive, and the water bond or the Aes Sedai bond, the other bond, the Ashaman bond came up, and I was like, hey, that made me think, let me start working on that. So that's some deep dive stuff. Again, obviously, if there's news, we'll talk about that, dig into that. I'm trying to think, hey, maybe the Shadow Rising. Let's maybe look into some of those things and adapting the Shadow Rising. So I might take a break too. I don't know if Brian's around to do some shows. I feel like I've been doing shows for the last I don't know how long now. So
Yeah, how you holding up on us? How you doing?
It's fun because like this was a lot of fun. But then I look back and I'm like, wow, that was a lot of like just looking at things, and I don't know how many YouTube videos I saw to get like that one thing of Rosamund and Rand saying and Josha saying season 3, and I was like, there's so many others that I wanted to like put together, and I'm like, I don't think I can do this. All right, let's give another 20 seconds and I'll end this and pick a winner. Let's see here.
Well, hey, if you
I
have
apologize
outlines,
if you can hear snoring in the background. That's my dog. Jesus.
Oh, that's cute.
What were you saying?
I was going to say, if you have ideas and you have outlines and you want to put clips together and do little things, I would love to collaborate.
Yeah, I did too many ideas. All right.
I'm in the same boat. That's the problem. Too many ideas, too little time.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, let's pick a winner. Mr. Ears, over Ears, congratulations, you have won a Dusty Wool mug. Reach out to me, you know how to reach out to me, and we'll get a mug to you. Again, thank you to everyone who's watching, everyone who's going to be watching later. Comment about all these series that we came up with. Did we miss anything that you found? Put that in the comments. Like, follow us. We're going to continue to do this for at least the next 18 months, because that's probably when season 3 is going to come out. And the two of you, thank you so much. We'll likely be back next week. I'll put stuff out there if I'm doing something next week. But for now, as we say around here, good night from the Dusty Wheel, and smash the black.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you, you're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is
really well.
scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm not wearing one.
I see Laconia as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all of a sudden,
This is not just
like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi elements.
And just a moment ago, Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me. And
probably, I would say, put in 70, 80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,